can become president of Nigeria. Do you think that we have moved away from the civil war syndrome and we have totally healed such that an Igbo man like Peter Obi from Anambra State, an Onitsha man, will one day become Nigeria's president?
That is the beginning of that is the foundation of the healing. And that is where you start to build the momentum and build Nigeria.
And why?
That is the beginning. Mm. So a P2P presidency will commence the healing and the unity that is required to save lives and build a better Nigeria. That's why I said a new Nigeria is possible.
How do we?
Because everybody will be inclusive.
How do we deal with the Kaduna Isiogwu tagged coup? Because that seems to have been a major wound that a lot of Nigerians still don't think that they can trust an Igbo man to become president.
Another woto. Peter Obi give Tinubu government woto. Like, this is my reality. This is my dream for every Nigerian children to school in this our country. Enjoy this our country. Peter Obi just speak a lot and he review a lot in this video. Please stick around to the end. Make sure you watch, subscribe. You know, election is at the corner, so more news, more audio will be dropping on this channel. So all of you watching, subscribing, liking daily basis, thank you and God bless you.
Politics live on Chinua Kimale, live for you here in Abuja. Every election season brings with it familiar promises, new alliances, and renewed hope. But this moment feels some kind of difference. Across the country, Nigerians are asking perhaps the most important question of all. Who have the ideas, the courage, and the leadership to turn the country around? Tonight, we sit down with one of the men at the center of that national conversation, a former two-term governor of Anambra State, the Labour Party's presidential candidate in 2023, now the National Democratic Congress's presidential candidate for 2027, and one of Nigeria's most influential political figures, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. From the economy and electricity to insecurity, coalition politics, party defections, transparency, and the criticism that have followed his political journey, nothing is off the table in this conversation. Beyond the headlines and the campaign rhetoric, this is an opportunity to hear directly from the man seeking Nigeria's highest office. Can he convince Nigerians that he has a vision, the strategy, and the leadership to meet this defining moment? I sat down with Mr. Peter Obi. It's a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you, sir.
How are you? Congratulations, by the way. You've climbed the ladder of being an elder statesman, because at that age, a lot of people imagine that one will have attained the status of an elder statesman. How do you feel?
Well, I thank God for His grace. Because whenever we wake up in the morning, we can only do one thing, thank God for His grace, because we're here by His grace. And wherever we go, I travel around every day, move around. Mine is to give gratitude to God Almighty for allowing me to be there.
At that age, you were able to reflect, did you? And in that your reflection, what would you say you want to dedicate the rest of your life to?
Well, I've done that since when I was 50, where I said, now what I want to do is to help in impacting humanity. And that's all I've been doing since I was 50. But I have regrets that not much have improved in my country, considering that every year we're headed south, where more and more people have been impoverished, more and more people have children are out of school, or things are going wrong in the right direction. So you feel pain. But I'm going to increase my effort in whatever I'm doing. My joy will be there, will create a Nigeria that is united and peaceful, and people are happy to say, we're Nigerians.
It does have, there's a feeling, and I'm not sure you've said this. If you've said it, maybe you can clarify. that Peter Obi's wanting to change Nigeria, because that seems to be your mantra, Peter Obi wanting to fix Nigeria. And as such, that if that doesn't happen by being the president of Nigeria in 2027, you're done. Is that the idea?
Well, that's not the idea. And this is, I've always said, I'm not desperate to be Nigerian president. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work. So if it's working, I'll support whatever makes it work. I want to see a country where, keep saying it every day, a child of nobody can be somebody without knowing anybody, where we can pull people out of poverty, where young ones will have opportunity to live, get a job, be entrepreneurial, participate in what young people do all over the world.
So it doesn't matter if Peter Obi is the president or not. So far, Nigeria is good. You're fine with it.
Right.
So, and in any capacity that you are able to help, either a minister or a president, that's okay.
I don't even need to hold any post. You don't need to hold any post. I'm contesting because I believe that I will fix it. I will unite the country and be able to do it to show an example of what is possible.
Well, there are those who do not think that you've got what it takes to unite the country. You just mentioned uniting Nigeria. On politics today, the former governor of Borno State, incidentally, when he left office was about the time that you were entering to become governor of Anambra State. And he mentioned to say that...
No, I was there before I left office.
Yeah, so just, I mean, he was exiting, your turn coincided at some point. You were in office at some point when he also was in office. And he said, people should not look in your direction because you will divide Nigeria, that you do not have what it takes to unite Nigeria. How do you react to such a statement?
So that's directly opposite of what I would do. I will unite Nigeria. And I know what it takes to unite Nigeria.
And what will that be?
Sheriff. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Sheriff.
Alimudu Sheriff.
I'm Sheriff. If you look at my record, what he said is opposite. At the onset, while he was still governor, I was there at the onset of this Boko Haram issue. His own brother was killed. So I traveled to Borno State to condole him. When people don't want to go there, I went to Borno State. It's on record. So they've been flooding in Borno State. I went there, contributed about 50 million naira, visited the governor, visited the show of Borno. I visited IDP camp in Borno. I've been to most troubled part of the north, be it Katsina, Kebbi. I've been to Plateau up to 4 times, visiting the various affected communities when there's killing and everything, spend time in IDP camp, help even communities that are affected to rebuild their schools for their children, went to the IDP camps, supported them. I've done that in Benue. I've spent Christmas, New Year in IDP camps. So I've built boreholes in Gombe, in Kaduna, in every part of the north. When University of Sokoto said, the University of Sokoto Agricultural Faculty said, all they need is borehole for their farm, I did it. And I visited schools in Sokoto, even when Tamoa was governor. I can go on and on. I've done the same thing in the Southwest. I've been to schools in Kogi, schools of nursing. I've visited hospitals all over Nigeria. There's no politician today in Nigeria who has been able to travel places that have been by road, from Kafanchan to Katsina to Maiduguri to everywhere. I've traveled all over the place by road because I want the country to be together.
And you understand that?
And I'm experiencing it. So for him to, what he's saying is direct opposite of what I would do. And I just show you an example by going to all these places. How many places have other people gone? Have you ever seen people in government today, even today, saying we're going to visit this place because this and everything? Even in the recent or your distance, I visited the governor. Go ask governors of other places whether it's for anything. Whenever there's issue, I call them and I try to visit them. Whenever there's fire in Kanu and everything, I will go there.
Mr. Obi, don't you think that this is probably not about Peter Obi? Because any person that understands the Nigerian history from the Civil War to the post-Civil War would think or imagine that we have not totally healed. And there's a segment of this country that have not been fully integrated in terms of the politics of this country. Whether or not an Igbo man can become president of Nigeria, do you think that we have moved away from the Civil War syndrome and we have totally healed such that an Igbo man like Peter Obi from Anambra State, an Onitsha man, will one day become Nigeria's president?
That is the beginning of that is the foundation of the healing. And that is where you start to build the momentum and build Nigeria.
And why?
That would be, that is the beginning. So a Peter Obi presidency will commence the healing and the unity that is required to save lives and build a better Nigeria. That's why I said a new Nigeria is possible.
How do we?
Because everybody will be inclusive.
How do we deal with the Kaduna Isiogwu tagged coup? Because that seems to have been a major wound that a lot of Nigerians still don't think that they can trust an Igbo man to become president.
At any particular point in time, know that you cannot be trapped in the process of yesterday. Those who are trapped in the process of yesterday must meet the future. There must be a time to know that we are the same. We must come together. Yes, we have a history, but we must not be trapped in it. It must not deprive us tomorrow. Those who are trapped in the process of yesterday and today will miss tomorrow. I want to drive this country to tomorrow. I want the child of Nigeria to be able to grow up in Nigeria, go to school, live his life without thinking about his tribe, without thinking about yesterday, without thinking about his religion, but as a Nigerian, and be proud of it. And we're going to do that. That is exactly what I am offering the people. I will never divide Nigeria. I will unite Nigeria. I will show love to every part of Nigeria and make sure things are done differently because I'm going to involve everybody.
I'd like to look into this camera, Mr. Obi, because every northerner that is watching through that lens tonight, we wonder whether or not they can trust an Igbo man. What would you say to them tonight that you, Peter Obi, can be trusted to become Nigeria's president and the lives, the destiny, and the politics of the northern man is safe in your hands?
Sharon, I've changed the north. I have an idea of what is happening in the north. And nobody can drive that process today in Nigeria that I've seen in the politics better than me. I will work with them and I'll ensure that that unity, that security, that prosperity they desire, I will unleash, I will commence it. And I'll show it. Sherry, I will work closely with people in the north. I have an idea of what is happening in the north. I have an idea that it will have massive poverty that needs to be dealt. I have an idea to deal with the issue of education and health properly, not this, and I'll deal with it decisively.
If you look at it, there are those who say we have not healed totally from the 1966 up to the 70. What would you do? You saw what happened in South Africa. There are those who say we need to reconcile. We need to sit at a table, look eyeball to eyeball. the generation of those who are 30-year-old today, who are 20-year-old today, who do not know the pains of the 1966 and 1970. Do you? I mean, they had a moment of reconciliation where they had a committee for reconciliation. Do you think that we need a moment of sitting down as a people to reconcile and think about what happened in the Civil War and move forward?
We need to have, I said before and I repeat, my presidency will heal and unite Nigeria.
That's what you stand for. Are you going to set up a committee, or you are going to?
No, it's not pushing, so that the actions of the presidency will show what we're going to do.
Tell me about what Alimodu also said about Northern tags. And you have been accused of labeling Northerners. How do you respond to that?
Sure, that's the lie. It never happened. Sure, Sheriff's ABC is from the north. Most governors choose their ABC, who is the closest person from them, from their own. My ABC is from Kaduna, and is a Muslim. ABC was a Muslim, still a Muslim. So how can you have a Muslim as the closest person to you? You're giving triple time. All the commissioners that served me in 8 years I was in office were Muslims. We're not actually a Muslim, but I'm from the north. So how did I give them tax? People from the north. So before I became governor, my closest or my 2 closest staff from the bank were from Kano. All the people I have, even military friends, were all from the north. So before I became president, I've always to date paid for at least, let me even because at least a Muslim every year to go to Hajj, every year, and I have records of them. As governor, I was paying for Christians to go for pilgrimage. I was paying for Muslims living in Anambra to go to Hajj. They are there. I'm sure while he was governor in Borno State, he never paid for any Christian to go to pilgrimage. I was paying for Muslims to go to pilgrimage. So how can I be giving them back? And I can go on and on and show you what I'm doing now privately on my own, going to do borehole. As I speak to you, say I'm supporting 4 Almajiri schools in Kaduna, in Bauchi, and this. I'm supporting School of Nursing in Bauchi, in Kaduna, the Muslim school, and I can go on and on. So you see, people, these are things they've done in the past to keep Nigeria divided.
Well, are there things that you have done in the past that you regret about the optics and how you were profiled, and you thought that maybe it's something that you need to change, that you have done wrongly to make you look like you are ethnic jingoist?
That's what I'm saying. This is the way they do. Instead of us discussing the problem of the country, people come before you to discuss Peter Obi. That's not the issue. World Bank has just said that 79% of Nigerians are going to face poverty. In a country of 230 million people, that's over 180 million. That should be the issue we should be discussing.
When they are mentioning...
They should be talking about issue of out-of-school children, talking about the issue of health, and all these monies that are missing here and there that would have invested properly. Nobody is discussing it.
When politicians come on my program and they keep mentioning your name, how does that make you feel?
Well, it's not about what they're discussing about me. Calling me name doesn't make me feel anything. But they abandon issues we are supposed to discuss. And discussing what I think is irrelevant.
Do you think mentioning your name shows that you are a real threat and a man to beat in this election.
Well, it's, like I said, this election in 2027 should be about issues that affect the ordinary Nigerian who don't know. With the World Food Organization have just said that 5 million Nigerians are going to face hunger. Of course, Nigerians are being kidnapped. Let's talk about Nigeria.
Let me ask quickly, because I'd like to settle some of the major issues that I think are very significant and give you a chance of a right of reply. Because when Mr. Alimodu Sheriff also said that no matter what, even with a Kwankwanso as your running mate, you still cannot win the North.
Like I said, that is what they've been able to say to keep us divided. That's what they will always say to ensure that the people continue to live all this confusion that we're in today, this mess that we're in today. And that's what we want to dismantle. We want to ensure the ordinary Nigerian that a bit of the Kwankwaso government will change this country for good and be able to allow the poor Nigerians to start living differently.